roar, growl, snarl, bellow. Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast that, like a valley of pachycephalosaurids, it's full of knuckleheads.
Yeah.
My name is Matthew Donald, and each week I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week I'm joined by the biggest knucklehead of all. It's me. I'm the biggest knucklehead. I'm also joined by Laura Owsley. How are you?
Hello. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm pretty good, I guess.
All right.
I'm also pretty. Look at me. I haven't washed my
hair.
Yeah. Forgot to put on deodorant, so I'm sweating.
You've got on your novelty T-shirt talking about how you thought you saw a spider.
Yeah, it's also full of little marks that my bird just started biting.
A casual. Yeah.
It's gorgeous, man.
Just a little extra flair, you know. She really thought you wanted to bring back that, 2010.
Oh no! Watch this.
Ripped jeans.
All right, watch this.
Oh man!
I just turned my cat backwards, dude.
And for the listener who could not see that very smooth motion of flipping the cat backwards, he did just become 4 times cooler.
Yeah, bro.
And a member of Rocket Power.
Rocket Power. What's that?
You don't remember that Nick show?
No.
It was they're all skateboarders and stuff.
Oh, it's freaking sweet, dude.
Right?
Yeah. So, we've been talking about Nick shows a lot for some reason. You can put a dinosaur in any one of these Nick shows. Which one and why? That's the dinosaur-related question.
Ooh. I mean, obviously, the obvious one is SpongeBob. Right? And have more
I feel like the dinosaur would drown.
See, but
there's that squirrel, with the scuba gear that could provide them.
Yeah. Obviously, Sandy Cheeks figured it out. Mm-hmm. Anybody could.
Mm-hmm. I'm eating, by the way, because I'm professional. I'm eating all recording.
Like a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But see, I really feel like a show that would really benefit from a dinosaur is iCarly. But no context, right? Just for a couple of episodes, for one 4 episode arc, just substitute the older brother for a dinosaur.
Okay.
I've not decided which one.
Okay, you know what I'm thinking of? Because knowing nothing about iCarly.
Sure, casual.
I'm thinking about one of the prosauropods. We don't call them prosauropods anymore. But they are these dinosaurs that are kind of derpy looking that I think could fit in. They're like long necks, but bipedal and a little bit derpier. Stand on 2 legs.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Just like that. I don't know, just coming down the stairs. I don't know what my brother was like.
That would fit in the Seattle apartment.
Yeah, can you imagine this with a backwards cap? I don't know if you wore.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's perfect.
Massive spondylus is what I chose, listeners. So, is this it from Land Before Time? No. Okay. There's so many. Land Before Time uses so many different.
Oh.
And throughout the whole series. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the first one on Patreon.
We need to get to the sequel. No, we don't need to. No one needs to do anything.
We need to get through all 48 sequels.
Oh my god!
To talk about all of them.
And honestly, the best way to maximize content is to do them one at a time.
Right. No, without giving spoilers for that Patreon episode because it's a lot of fun. But I remember growing up thinking I must have just missed something, right? I must have missed a scene or something. And I was watching Land Before Time as an adult for the podcast. And I was
it's a short movie. So
it's very short. There's also they're walking through a ravine, and then they immediately cut to them in the middle of the ocean. And
that's called a montage. No, that's how
thank you.
No, I don't mean to mansplain it, but actually.
I see. But no, and there's so many mistakes of the tree star will be on somebody's back in one scene, and they'll cut to a different character. They'll cut back to that character. The tree star is not there.
Keeping continuity in a hand-drawn animated film can be quite difficult. So,
I mean, I don't know if it is, but
okay, where's your film then?
Right. Fair enough.
Doesn't sound that difficult, right? Well, you do it.
You're right. I do not have the hand-drawn animation skills.
Right.
I'm just saying, you don't realize these things when you're watching it when you're 5, and then when you try to.
Although, to be fair, in the modern day, people are getting so much better about doing stuff on their own. There's this thing I've discovered on YouTube that was made entirely produced, except for the voice acting, by one person.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah. No, it's incredible what people can do with like it's the
2023, baby.
Heck yeah.
AI.
Have you seen those memes that are like, oh, well, like if we took away like the monetary incentives, people wouldn't do anything. And then it's like all these like clips of people doing like the most insane stuff for completely free, like just because they want to.
If I had no money, if money was meaningless, I would travel a bit and then play video games for a bit and then do other things. It wouldn't matter. I'd live life as it was meant to be lived.
Yeah, no,
we're a pro-anarchist an anti-capitalist.
Sure.
I'm not sure which thing I'm going for. I think socialism sounds pretty good, but I don't know enough about it to say either one. I just know I'm very much vehemently against capitalism.
Sure.
So that's where I stand.
I realized recently, so I've been a tour guide of Denver for a very long time, and I've been doing this cocktail tour for a long time. And it wasn't until recently that I realized that I have a kind of line that I normally use in my tour of like, if you have the money, who among us would not spend half their year traveling?
Yeah.
And then
I don't even like traveling too much, and I do it. Do it. Like,
well, see, that's what I forgot till I was like talking to a friend of mine about it, and she was like, I would absolutely not be doing that. And I was like, oh, other people don't enjoy travel.
I like traveling sometimes for a bit. And then as long as I have an escape to go back to the internet, I will go wherever you need me to. So, but including the mangrove swamps of Egypt. And speaking of which, we're talking about a creature that lived in said mangrove swamps back when Egypt was full of mangrove swamps.
Ooh.
We're talking about Moeritherium, the beast of Lake Moeris. Where is Lake Moeris? I don't know. I didn't bother to look it up.
It's a great name, though. The Beast of Lake Moeris.
Yeah. Moeris, I think. Yeah. Moeris, or what was, I don't know. It's, I would like those towns that are like known for just their one cryptid.
Hey, I mean, look, we all love Nessie. Yeah. Right?
I know Nessie's not real, but I still wouldn't swim in Loch Ness because I'm like, but what if?
But what if? I mean, to be fair, I've never seen 1,000% definitive proof that Nessie is not real.
Its burden of proof is to prove that it does. This is the whole God problem. It's like you can't prove something is not there. You have to prove that something is there. So, there's been no proof that it is there. There's
been plenty of blurry photos, Matt.
I guess that's true.
Come on now.
But we live in the age of smartphones, man. There should be photos up the wazoo at this point.
Nessie's just a little photo shy. It's fine.
Or like, I like the really, really obscure ones. Like obviously like Bigfoot's one, but like, there's this one that's like in like the Appalachians called like the Wahoo or something. It's like, gotta watch out for the Wahoo. Like,
there's Mothman.
Mothman, yep. There's a
podcast I like a lot that was not her daughter's first word, but definitely like
was Mothman?
One of her first words was Mothman.
I had a friend from high school who her first word apparently was predatory. Which is cool, but problematic. Like, well, it sounds scary. Like, what's going on there?
Also, I mean, I don't know your friend, so maybe I
haven't seen her since high school. So,
but like, I don't believe that was the first word.
Predatory.
Like, that's a lot of syllables for a very small
4
child.
syllables. My first word was asshole, anyway.
And look who you grew up to be.
An asshole, yeah. It's like I was describing, like a Pikachu. I'm describing myself. I'm just, Pika, asshole.
Asshole.
Anyways, speaking of assholes, actually, no, this thing was probably all right. It was a proboscidean, proboscidean, a group of mammals whose only living representatives are elephants.
Oh.
Size, 2.3 feet, so 0.7 meters high at the shoulder. 6 to 7 feet, just 1.8 to 2.1 meters long, 550 pounds to 250 kilograms.
Okay.
So it's kind of, like a tapir or something. Like not enormous. It was an herbivore. It lived in the late Eocene, 37 to 35 million years ago. So this thing probably would have to watch out for Proboscis if it was in Peru, but thankfully it wasn't. It was in Egypt.
See? Different parts of the world, so they weren't competitors.
Exactly. Competitors were like predator and prey. It's like, how many Moeritherium would feed one Proboscis?
That's a good question. Probably like
if 3 Proboscideus were on a train going in this direction,
Sure.
and then 2 Moeritherium are going on a train this direction,
right?
Then how many dogs would your wife have?
Oh, see, the answer to that actually depends on whether or not it's Central Time or British Standard Time.
Of course. Speaking of time, this was described in 1901.
Okay.
Turn of the century. People are like, man, things can't get any better than this. The aughts. There's no wars happening of any world type, even though Europe politics at this point they were just gunning for. They were really all after each other.
It was a long time coming. Yeah. Everybody just needed a reason to get at each other's
blowing off steam,
Yeah, everybody had a bunch of fancy weapons that they'd created, and they really wanted to try it out.
Some of the gas variety, and the plane variety, and the trench variety. I think that Wonder Woman was there to save the day if the movie is...
And you know what? God bless.
Yeah.
Well, now Wonder Woman is on the charts of one of the highest grossing, or was on the chart of the highest grossing movies directed by a woman and co-written by a woman. And now, you know what's overtaken everything?
Barbie?
Yeah. They just reached $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
I love that. It's great.
If this creature were a Barbie, what kind of Barbie would it be?
Swamp Barbie.
Swamp Barbie.
It'd be cute though, living in the swamp.
Fair. I feel like paleontologist Barbie.
There is a paleontologist Barbie.
Is there?
Yeah,
or
I saw a commercial for it. Well, someone shared it on TikTok. It was like,
this would be Egyptologist Barbie, right?
Egypt paleontological Egyptologist Barbie.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Anyway, so pop culture appearances as well as Barbie, obviously.
As well as Barbie.
The TV documentaries Land of the Mammoths, Walking with the Beasts, and Dinosaurs on Earth Then and Now. Even though this is not a dinosaur, even though I love that you call everything on the show dinosaurs. I was listening to the Pezzozyran episode, and would you say that this was the horniest of dinosaurs? And you're like, this manatee. It's like the dinosaur. It's like, yeah.
Well, we've talked about a lot of dinosaurs, so as far as I'm concerned,
So it also was in all the Ice Age movies. It was like a background character. It's like, I don't know if you remember any of the Ice Age movies, but there's a part at the beginning of the first one where Manny says to one of them, if my trunk was that small, I wouldn't draw attention to myself, pal.
Oh, those jokes that went right over our heads as kids.
Yep. Oh, man. So in Eocene Egypt, where this particular mammal once lived, the last remnants of the Tethys Sea flowed through, leaving a lot of lush marshland and mangrove swamps. This wasn't just flat-out ocean, meaning that any creatures that lived here had to deal with a ton of water. And good thing Moeritherium was semi-aquatic.
Okay.
Living in the brackish wetlands and feeding on seagrasses. Moeritherium being so closely related to elephants is interesting because they lived like hippos and kind of look like pigs.
Yeah, I can see that.
They're not ancestors of elephants, but a separate branch of the proboscideans that died out left no descendants. Most creatures don't make it, folks.
Well,
so
only so much we can do about that.
Either the environment changes too much, they have too much competition, or they barely make enough money to live on their own and they don't have kids on a nationwide scale because they literally can't afford them, to the point of the population of the country is supposed to eventually peak and then decline with the next generations being smaller in number. What are we talking about, prehistory?
Yeah. No, I mean, I highly recommend, and I assume it was the same in prehistoric times, right? If you ever just want to absolutely trash your mental health.
Yeah.
Right. You just really want to take a back spin. Highly recommend downloading Zillow and just looking up the average cost of a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo.
My apartment is pretty damn cheap, but it's only 450 square feet, and I'm so worried it's going to rise. And it's still not cheap. It's not not to be confused with the Mario creature, I guess. cheap. I don't know where but no, and what was I going to say? Also, to be fair, paleontology, modern day world, particularly politics, they do correlate in some ways. I'm not kidding. So this is a fun fact I learned recently. The Western Interior Seaway, which is the ocean that was in the middle of North America during the time of the dinosaurs. That's
sure.
Because sea levels were a lot higher back then. That's why I find mosasaur fossils in Kansas.
Okay.
So it was a inland sea that broke apart North America, and we have a shoreline. We can see the shoreline for it, and there's a shoreline in Alabama. You can see where the shoreline was if you look at a map of where the shoreline was in Alabama. And this shoreline of this Cretaceous ocean, if you look at a map of Alabama, it correlates perfectly with the counties in Alabama that voted Democrat.
Weird.
And it's not a coincidence. Let me explain. So, this shoreline had a lot of sediments in it that were really good for growing cotton. And when the slaves, the African-American slaves were there, they were in the cotton fields. And then when the slaves were freed, but they stayed there, and African-American people overwhelmingly vote Democrat. So...
Wild.
Isn't that crazy?
That is actually crazy.
The border of this prehistoric ocean correlates with how people vote.
Yeah. Wild.
Paleontology can save the world. And
that's the goal of this podcast.
To save the world.
Sure.
This is the day after of podcasts.
I knew it.
Did you ever know the movie The Day After? It's a movie that saved the world. Literally, I'm not kidding.
Really?
It was about the dangers of a nuclear apocalypse. It was a TV movie during the Cold War, and it scared Ronald Reagan enough to sign the treaties to end the one good thing he did.
Yeah. Do you know that Ronald Reagan was apparently a part of the acting union?
Yeah.
And then spent his entire career as president destroying unions?
Yes.
Yeah.
It all goes back to Reagan.
So this creature...
Which would definitely be Democrat.
Okay, I was going to ask. Okay, but
because it yearns for a better future, even though it wallows in the mud.
Sure.
I don't know how that
Fortunate.
So it did have a trunk, like an elephant.
Sure,
but it wasn't quite like an elephant. So it was more broad and flexible, like the broad and flexible upper lip of a tapir, perfect for grasping aquatic vegetation. It also had tusks, but again, not like that of an elephant, more like a broad teeth, like that of a hippo. Turns out that different creatures in similar conditions tend to evolve similar adaptations and thus look alike despite not being closely related. Convergent evolution, yo. You'll feel good saying that with this hat like this.
Yeah. With your backwards cap.
Yeah, I'm cool, man.
Yeah.
It's like I should get on glasses. Like, convergent evolution, yeah.
So, all the marketing for this podcast is all done in that, 2000s kind of style,
yeah,
right?
It's man, we're so cool and
so
edgy.
Cool, edgy, plastic furniture.
Let's tell Bomb to shove it. The formation we found Moeritherium and had an interesting mishmash of creatures such as the predatory mammals, Apterodon and Hyenodon, unrelated to hyenas. Why not?
It's misleading.
Yeah, and some early whales like Stromurius and Sagacetus. Some of these whales might have preyed on baby Moeritherium because the whales would have gone into the mangrove swamps and which sounds scary if you ask me. So.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but Moeritherium just kept swimming along, eating the grass,
living his best life.
His best life. That's, at one hand, that sounds really nice, those kind of creatures that just kind of swim and eat and are peaceful. But then I remember they poop, and poop just floats everywhere, when they're in the water.
Yeah, but you don't know where you eat, man.
I don't think they care.
I feel like they kind of have to.
I don't think they care.
It's like cats, right? If you put the cat food dish too close to their litter box, they're not going to eat.
Oh my god! So I work at this. I work at the pet hotel.
Sure.
And I love dogs, but we all love dogs. But sometimes I wonder why we love dogs because they're objectively disgusting animals.
Yeah, that's valid.
We were talking about this one dog. They were keep an eye on this dog. She has diarrhea. She tried to do some diarrhea earlier, but one dog kept licking her butt.
Ew.
Because it was a free treat. Because dogs, man.
Gross.
Because that's what dogs are disgusting.
Yeah.
I love them. But they drool in there constantly. They poop and pee and and then you have to watch one of them from eating it up.
Yeah, gross.
They roll and stuff. Ugh.
Blech.
But we love them. They're cute.
They're adorable and I absolutely would kill for dogs.
They're better than humans in every way.
Sure, casually, yeah, absolutely. But objectively, very gross, Very gross little creatures that we take into our house and give them baby names.
And let them sit on our couch. Yep.
Yeah. Let them sleep in our beds.
Yep. With their heads usually right next to us.
Yeah. Or, depending on the pet, the butt very close to your face.
So one time, I was, with my girlfriend at my parents' house, and their parents, they were gone, and I won't get into detail what we were doing, but we were on the bed, and then, I left the door open, and while, we were on the bed, I felt our dog's little nose on my thigh because he pushed a ball into where we were. He's like, can we play? And I'm like, not now!
Not now!
But he didn't care. He was
it was like, well, you guys are playing. I want to play.
Yeah. just he pushes his little ball in there. He's like, play with me.
And play. It's fetch time.
Yeah, it is. No, it's not.
It's not. But to him, it's very important.
Of course. Anyways, let's rate Moeritherium. 20 million for me. It's kind of boring. I mean, it's a cute little tapir thing. I liked it walking with beasts. Have you ever seen that documentary? That's like a fun little cameo in it. See some videos of it. Might show you a clip of it here. Hold on. So you get a better glimpse.
Yeah, I need to see this clip before I rate the creature.
Yeah. So that's Moeritherium. So.
Okay. I mean, he seemed just like a chill dude.
Yeah.
Right? Really only cared about eating seagrass and hanging out.
Yeah.
Can't blame him for that.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd rate him 4.5 Egyptologists.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Barbie Egyptologists, just to be clear.
I was thinking Evelyn, Evie.
Oh, from The Mummy?
The Mummy, yeah.
That's fair.
I would like 4 of her. I'm sorry. Nah.
This is a BJ podcast.
At this point, no, actually, no. She's nice, but we are about the age that she was when she filmed The Mummy. It's weird to think.
Weird.
She was I'm older than her. She was 31 when she filmed The Mummy. So.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Anyways. That's it for this week. We're going to get a little show. Contact me, paleobitespodcast@gmail.com, paleobitespod on Twitter, paleobitespodcast on Instagram. Where can they find you?
Hello. So I am Laura, and I'm...
Oh, hello. I don't know if I introduced at the beginning. I think I don't know. Who knows at this point? All these blur together.
I know. So I am at Thespian Laura on basically every social media, with the exceptions to the weird ones. But all your main
You're not
ones.
on Parler.
I'm not on Parler.
No, you should go on there. No, you shouldn't.
I don't even know what it is. I don't know if I want
think it was pre-Truth Social. So.
Yeah, no, but I'm on the big ones, right? So if you want to follow me on Instagram, I post a lot of stuff from my cocktail tours, and I post pictures of dogs. So, it's quality content.
It's good stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm on all the basic things. Find me on TikTok. I don't actually post videos, but
we want to get her 100 followers without her posting a single video.
Yeah,
so.
That's my ultimate goal. So, come follow me on TikTok. Sometimes I'm funny. Maybe if you follow me, I'll follow you back, and I'll send you, the weird stuff I find at
You and
3
I send each
a.m.
other on TikToks quite often. It's very fun. So, yeah.
Both good and bad outcomes.
Yeah. I'm glad I fell under the TikTok wagon. At first, I was like, "Oh, you kids and you TikTok," but now I'm like, I can't get enough of it.
Oh, I know. It's got a strong hold, that algorithm. Oh, well, the algorithm is super invasive. Yeah, I know, but so is everybody's algorithm these days.
Right. It knows exactly what I want. It has dinosaur videos. It has videos about space and science, political stuff, the occasional thirst trap,
Casual.
And
by thirst trap, you do mean these creatures, drinking from a local water.
Of course.
Yeah.
And they do that, they do drink from the water. There's the water talk, also, where it's this is my water, but it's actually just a bunch of syrup. You've seen those?
Oh, yes.
Those kind of thirst traps. Look at my water. That's
my
basically
water for
Mountain
the day.
Dew.
And you're like, here's I don't know if that's still water.
Yeah, it's basically Mountain Dew at this point.
Well, I like my water carbonated, and I like a little bit of cherry syrup. And I'm like, I think you just
go get a cherry Coke.
I think you're just making cherry Coke the long way.
Yeah, so
around.
those kind of thirst traps. And then also boobs. But anyway.
Sure.
So.
Who among us doesn't have boobs on our For You page? Anyway.
It's all right. My girlfriend also has boobs on her For You page. So we often sometimes send them each other. It's like, look at this one.
Might as well. Alright.
That's it for this week. See you at the end of every episode of Paleo Bites. Oh, look at this boob.
Boobs.
It sounds like you're saying the Shoes theme song, but just from the early years of YouTube.
I guess I'm
These boobs rule. These boobs suck.
These boobs rule. These boobs suck.
I think you like boobs too much. Shut up. I think you like boobs too much. Shut up.
You like boobs too much.
Shut up. Let's get some boobs.
Honestly, some of us don't have them, so like.
Bye, listener.